Picture this. England, the 17th century, a time of great upheaval and change. It's a period marked by a fierce power struggle. The monarchy and the parliament are locked in a battle for supremacy. The crown, once the unassailable symbol of authority, is now being questioned, its divine right to rule challenged. On the other side, the parliament, once a mere advisory body, is growing bolder, asserting its own authority. The populace too is stirring, discontent seething beneath the surface. Religious tension is high, different sects vying for dominance, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. This is a time of uncertainty, of change and of opportunity. It's a time when the very foundations of the society are being tested, and everything seems up for grabs. And right in the middle of this turmoil emerges a figure who would forever change the course of this nation's history: Oliver Cromwell. Born in Huntingdon, England in 1599, Oliver Cromwell was not born a man of privilege. He was the only son of Robert Cromwell and Elizabeth Stewart, a couple of modest means who belonged to the gentry class. His early years were simple, devoid of the opulence and entitlement that often come with blue-blooded lineage. Cromwell's education was a mix of local schooling and an enrollment at the prestigious Sidney Sussex College, Cambridge. Unfortunately, his academic pursuits were cut short by the death of his father, forcing him to return home and take on family responsibilities. Despite this setback, Cromwell's early experiences provided him with a solid foundation in understanding the world around him. In 1620, at the age of 21, Cromwell took another significant step in his life. He married Elizabeth Bourchier, a union that would last for over 40 years and produce 9 children. Elizabeth, a woman of strong character and devout faith, would become a pillar of support for Cromwell throughout his turbulent career. While still in his 20s, Cromwell began to show an interest in politics. He served as a Member of Parliament for Huntingdon in 1628, a role that offered him a glimpse into the workings of the political world. However, his early political career was unremarkable. He was known more for his religious fervor and Puritan beliefs than for any significant political achievements. Cromwell's life during these years was far from extraordinary. He was a farmer, a family man, and a local politician with a devout religious streak. However, these seemingly mundane aspects of his life were laying the groundwork for the extraordinary path that lay ahead. His experiences would shape his beliefs and his leadership style, which would eventually lead him to become one of the most significant figures in British history. But it was not until the age of 43 that Cromwell would step into the limelight, and his life would take a turn that would shape the future of England. The year was 1642. England was on the brink of a civil war. As the tension between the monarchy and Parliament reached a boiling point, Oliver Cromwell found himself at the heart of the conflict. A man of modest beginnings, Cromwell was a Member of Parliament for Huntingdon, but the impending war would soon push him to the forefront of the national stage. As the first notes of conflict sounded, it became evident that Cromwell was no ordinary parliamentarian. He quickly distinguished himself as a military leader within the parliamentarian forces, leading a troop of cavalry known as the Ironsides. His unique approach to warfare, emphasizing discipline and religious fervor, proved to be a game-changer. His Ironsides were invincible, never losing a battle, and soon Cromwell's reputation soared. Cromwell's military successes were instrumental in the Parliament's victory in the English Civil War. After the execution of King Charles I in 1649, the monarchy was abolished, and England became a Commonwealth. This marked a significant shift in English history, with power now firmly in the hands of Parliament. However, the Parliament was riddled with infighting and disagreements. Disillusioned with its ineffectiveness, Cromwell, backed by his loyal army, made a decisive move. In 1653, he disbanded the Rump Parliament, marking a pivotal moment in his rise to power. Cromwell's ascent did not stop there. Later that same year, he was installed as Lord Protector of England, Scotland, and Ireland. His rise was nothing short of phenomenal. A farmer, then a parliamentarian, then a victorious military leader, and finally the Lord Protector. He was now the de facto ruler of the British Isles, holding a position of power that was, in many ways, akin to that of a monarch. Cromwell's journey was marked by an unyielding resolve, military genius, and a keen understanding of the political landscape. His rise to power was a testament to his leadership and ability to seize opportunities in the face of adversity. By 1653, Cromwell, a man of humble beginnings, had risen to become Lord Protector of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Now at the helm, Cromwell's rule was marked by a mix of progressive policies and harsh measures. Oliver Cromwell, the man of the hour, found himself in the position of Lord Protector in the mid-17th century. His rule, though not without controversy, was one of significant change and reform. He was a man who valued law and order and believed in the power of a strong central government. Under Cromwell's watch, the country saw a resurgence in commerce and trade as he implemented policies that promoted economic growth. He established new trading links with foreign nations and encouraged the development of domestic industries. Cromwell was also noted for his attempts at religious tolerance. He championed the rights of Protestants throughout Europe and worked to ensure that those of different faiths could practice their religion freely within England's borders. However, this tolerance did not extend to Catholics, and his policies often reflected this bias. His rule was not without its dark side. Cromwell's harsh measures against the Royalists and the Irish are some of the most contentious aspects of his reign. The Royalists, who had been defeated in the Civil War, faced severe repression under Cromwell. Their lands were confiscated, their rights curtailed, and many were imprisoned or executed. The Irish, too, bore the brunt of Cromwell's wrath. His Irish campaign was marked by brutal violence and devastation, leading to a significant loss of life. His actions in Ireland have been the subject of much debate and controversy, with some labeling them as genocidal. Cromwell's rule was a time of great change, both progressive and regressive. He sought to build a stronger England, one that was unified and prosperous. Yet in his quest for power and control, he often resorted to harsh and brutal measures. Cromwell's rule, though short-lived, left a deep imprint on the nation. His influence can still be felt today in the political and religious landscape of modern England. His legacy, like the man himself, is a complex mix of progress and brutality, of aspiration and cautionary tale. In 1658, Oliver Cromwell's journey came to an end, but his story was far from over. His death marked the end of the Protectorate, the political structure he had put in place, and England briefly returned to monarchy under Charles II. However, the memory of Cromwell was not to rest in peace. In a move that can only be described as posthumous retribution, Cromwell's body was exhumed in 1661, and he was subjected to a symbolic trial. Found guilty, his remains were publicly displayed in a gruesome spectacle of humiliation. Yet this act of vengeance against a dead man only served to underline the significance of his life. As we turn the pages of history, we find a divided opinion about Oliver Cromwell. His legacy remains a contentious subject, stirring up passionate debates among historians and scholars alike. To some, Cromwell is a champion of liberty, a man who stood against the absolute power of the monarchy. His establishment of the Protectorate marked a significant shift towards a more representative form of government. This was a radical move in an age where the divine right of kings was an accepted norm. Yet to others, Cromwell is seen as a tyrant, a dictator draped in puritanical righteousness. The brutality of his military campaigns in Ireland, the suppression of royalists, and his autocratic rule cast a long shadow over his achievements. His reign, though short, was marked by draconian laws and severe religious intolerance. But regardless of the perspective one chooses, one thing is clear. Cromwell's impact on England, and indeed on the broader political landscape of the 17th century, is undeniable. His rule challenged the status quo and set in motion changes that would have far-reaching effects. Whether a hero of liberty or a tyrannical dictator, Oliver Cromwell's legacy remains a subject of debate. His impact on England undeniable. His story, like the man himself, remains complex, compelling, and paradoxically both revered and reviled. Oliver Cromwell, a man of contradictions, a man who shaped a nation. His ambitions were as vast as the kingdom he sought to govern. A farmer turned soldier, turned statesman, his trajectory was as unlikely as it was impactful. His achievements from the abolition of monarchy to the establishment of the Commonwealth were monumental, yet marred by the paradox of his rule. A champion of the people, yet a dictator in his own right, Cromwell's rule was a complex amalgamation of democracy and autocracy. He sought to bring about a republic, yet became a monarch in all but name. His rule, while marked by significant political and military achievements, was also characterized by religious intolerance and brutal suppression of dissent. This paradox, this duality, is the essence of Oliver Cromwell. In the annals of history, Oliver Cromwell stands as a testament to the power of conviction, the allure of power, and the lasting impact of a single individual's actions.